Hi, everyone. Welcome to your next academic overview session. This time it'll be on GB 110, and I will turn it over to our presenter now.
Thank you, Austin. Hello, everybody. I am Kiana Pierre-Louis, and I am the GB 110 coordinator, and I will officially introduce myself in a minute. But this slide is up because I know right now you are just getting yourself acclimated at Bentley, getting yourself in. So welcome, everybody, to Bentley. I know this is a new and exciting venture and also a busy orientation season. Orientation is always busy. But I know right now it's a little bit more busy as we are getting into our new COVID normal, as I like to talk about it, where there is a whole bunch of Zoom meetings. And I know this is one of a million Zoom meetings that you're going to have, plus your classes. So I just want everybody to take a minute and just take a breath, because I know it's a lot. I know some professors have probably already given you assignments on Blackboard, and you may be feeling a little overwhelmed. Just breathe. Remember, do what you can do. Remember, you have a bunch of support systems and resources here at Bentley, so just use them. I don't want you to get too crazy with orientation. I'm going to really only talk for about 15 minutes, and then not even, I don't think, but maybe about 15 minutes, and then I will open it up to Q&A, which I know some people are writing in Q&A right now, but I won't look at it yet, so I can get through this. So this is how to succeed in GB 110. I think I already saw a question that you have went to a 112. That is your accounting and finance. GB 110 is the legal and ethical environment of business class. You students will take that freshman year, the first year, but they can take it in the fall and the spring. So some of you may not be in 110 yet. It will show up in your spring semester if you're not in the fall. Unlike 112, where you have to take it in the fall, GB 110, you can take it in the fall and the spring. And now we have a trimester, so you can actually probably take it in the summer as well. Again, I am Professor Kiana Pierre-Louis. I am a senior law lecturer here. I am an attorney, a practicing attorney. I practice real estate and corporate law. I used to do criminal defense. I have plenty of stories that I always tell my classes. I won't do it right now because I don't want to belabor them, but I have a lot of stories on when I did criminal defense. I am the 110 coordinator. If you have questions about classes, sections, books, some of you have already emailed me, you can email me. This is my email at the bottom of the screen, kpierlouis@bentley.edu. You can just write me for any questions. I also say you can also contact your professors. If you're in 110 right now, you can contact the professors that you have for 110. If you're not in it right now, you can contact me to ask me questions about spring semester. Now, why do we do a How to Succeed in GB 110 and 112? The reason why is general business 110 and 112 are your core general business classes that you see first. So throughout your years at Bentley, you will go into what we call these general business classes, and they're general business courses, and you have so many each year as you go in. 110 and 112 are the first ones you see. So we thought in orientation, it would be good to just get you acclimated and understand what these business courses are. They are mandatory for business majors, and some of them build off of each other. Some of them are new material, but a lot of them build off each other, and it's really giving you the foundation of business here at Bentley. So again, 110 and 112, different. This is the law class. 112 is the accounting and finance class, are just the first ones you get freshman year. There are going to be a lot of new terminology in these classes. For 110, I have thought it was a really good idea that I gave all the professors resources to give you. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the list just real quick to start and talk about the resources. So for research and writing in your classes, if your professors require that, there is a guide that they should put up on Blackboard that talks about how to cite properly on the business side and how to research and where to go to the library. Some classes will have a librarian to come in to take you through this. Some don't. In the case they don't, there is a PowerPoint that should be up on all your professors' Blackboard site. If it's not, you can let me know and I'll have them put it up. That really just kind of walks you through the resources the library used for researching and writing. even if you don't see that resource up on the Blackboard site, go to the library. They know what to do. They know how to help you. They will help you on researching and writing on the business side. The Writing Center. The Writing Center is huge. There is a lot of writing required in the law and ethics class. So if you are doing a lot of writing, and it's probably different writing from many English classes and things like that, you should use the Writing Center. You can go to the Writing Center for small, like if you have an outline of things and they will shape it. I have met with a lot of the tutors in the Writing Center, and they really have worked hard to figure out what legal writing looks like. We don't really ask you, most of the professors have been practicing attorneys or they are practicing attorneys, but we're not really gonna ask you to do too much legal writing. We know you're not in law school, but there are specific things we like to see, especially when it's talking about analysis of a case. So we will have you should go to the Writing Center. Another great resource is the ESOL Center, English of Speakers of Other Languages. They will help you if you have any presentations, and this is for any classes, any PowerPoint presentations, anything. You can go to them and they will help you figure out your presentations as well as your writing. So you can go to the Writing Center or ESOL Center. All right, now let's just go back. One other resource that I have had the library to do, and it's a little bit different in COVID, so I'm gonna double check on it, but they have what they call legal dictionaries. And legal dictionaries is just like any dictionary. It basically takes legalese that we say, so legal language that we say, and it tells you what it means in normal terms. We have those in different languages. We have those in English, Mandarin, Cantonese, Spanish, French, Dutch, German, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if we have all languages, but I asked them to get as many as they can. These resources you can't technically check out. They were actually only at the reference desk. So I don't know if they were able to put those on the website virtually, but you can always go to Amazon or any place and get them for less than $10. I promise you that. I have asked professors that if you need to use these legal dictionaries for testing, that they allow those for testing, because usually most of our tests are closed notes. If you need to use a legal dictionary for testing, you should be allowed to use that. Because I know we use a lot of legal language that can be hard to understand for a lot of folks. So those legal dictionaries will be helpful. All right, now back to just succeeding. It's common like everything. One, we're all gonna be on Zoom. Your classes for GB 110 are either hybrid or synchronous, and then there's one class that is asynchronous, which I think you know this. Hybrid is there will be a professor in the class. There will be probably a limit of 10 to 13 students allowed in the class, and everybody else will be online. Synchronous is live, all online, and asynchronous is not live on a live, but each week you have to do some materials and watch videos. If you are in synchronous or in a hybrid class, please, if you are able to have your videos on, engage, make sure you're sitting up and engage in class. Make sure you are, if you're not sitting in the class, act like you're sitting in the class. Be alert, be engaged. I know it can be, I have sat on probably over 100 Zoom meetings in the last 3 months. And there are times where I just want to lay in my bed and take it. But I know if I do, I'm not alert. So I would just say try to be as alert as possible and try to have your videos on. Most of the professors will require the videos if you're able to have them on. So just do that. Engage. I love, right now this is in webinar setting and it's crazy for me. I love to see my students. I love to engage with my students. Ask questions just like you're in class. Use your virtual hand. Unmute and say, excuse me, professor, I have a question. Use your chat if they allow it. Ask questions. Engage your professor. We don't like to just stand up and talk, monotone talking and lecturing. We really want you to engage. That's how you're going to be successful, and that's how the professors will take notice to you. Read your assigned readings before class. Some professors will not go over the readings. They will expect you to know it and understand it, and it will probably show up on your quiz or your test, so you need to read. Also, this is a law class. Some of you may have taken a legal class, some of you may not, but a lot of this stuff is going to be new. Reading will help you at least get a foundation, and then the professor will at least help you understand it a little bit better. Or if you read something in the ebook, then you're able to ask that question in class the next day if you were thoroughly confused. Speaking of the book, I have received several questions from students regarding the book. So the book is an ebook. Now, if you are on campus and the bookstore was open, I don't know if it is, but I don't think so, but the bookstore was open, usually what they would do is give you an access card and you can just go in and put it in and access your ebook. They are now giving that access code virtually. So what happens is you go to the bookstore, you find your class, and virtually they'll give you access code, and then you go into Coursebook Connect and you put in that access and you will get the book. The second thing I'm getting questions about. A lot of students are like, I am in section HB, and I'm just making up a section, HB 17. I don't see HB 17 when I go to the bookstore. That is because the bookstore has, when you see HB or SN, that stands for hybrid or synchronous. Unfortunately, some professors have changed what modality they're going to teach in. So some professors said they may have started off teaching hybrid, but they've changed to synchronous. That has not translated to the bookstore. So the bookstore may still have the original modality. So if it was originally hybrid, it would say HB 17, but now on your registration list, it says SN. What I would tell you is look at the number. The number doesn't change. The HB and the SN may change. The number does not change. So your section number will either be 19, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at that and you will be able to find your class. Do not pay attention to the SN or the HB, okay? So again, just pay attention to the numbers. That will tell you what your section is. That's really what your section is anyway. It's the number, not the thing before it, right? Office hours. Most of us are doing virtual office hours. We should have that either on Blackboard or on our syllabi. So go to the virtual office hours. Just like you would in person if you would show up for office hours, go. We like to see you at office hours. We know some of you are sitting there confused. And then we also know that some of you will ask your classmates who are just as confused. You with us, we're here. We are happy to help. Use our virtual office hours. Last, try not to procrastinate. You are probably have 4 to 5 classes that are going to be demanding. You don't want to get behind. You don't want to get behind because it can get you panicked. So try to just keep up. When you have all the syllabi, when the syllabus are get posted, and most of them should be up probably by today, when they're posted, take a look, fill in your schedule, and figure out the times that you need to study, get homework done, and things like that. Also, I would say fast forward all the way to midterms and put all your midterms in. Because if you have 4 classes in a day, and you may have 4 midterms in a day, you need to know that now, just so you're not panicking. And then specifically for 110 study guides, a lot of my students create study guides and they help them perfectly. And you can even share your study guides with other people, but I usually put up for my classes a shell of a guide that you can put in your notes. Not all professors do that, but create study guides so you can keep yourself straight. This is a little quick quote that I won't belabor because I want to move on to give you times because I see questions popping in. And it says, the law is as of much interest to the layman as it is the lawyer. And I only put this up because people ask, why am I taking a law course in a business school? And it is because there's not one area of business that the law doesn't affect. Today, some of you may have gone out and bought something, but you bought something online, may have bought a coffee, may have done anything, bought food. Even your transaction with, your residential halls, even your transaction with Bentley, that's all a contract. That was all a contract. That was all the law. When you're able to buy something from the store and you're able to return it because you don't like it, guess what that is? That's a legal contract. You just don't think about it. So there's no area of business or really no area of life that the law doesn't hit. So that's why you're teaching it. You need to understand some bases of the law so you don't get yourself in trouble. And the same with ethics. Quickly, these are a couple of areas that we will go through. And again, this is like almost every area of business. We will talk about contracts. We'll talk about courts and court procedure, business organizations, agencies, torts, product liability. I will not go, this is not a teaching class. This is just getting you set up. But your professors will get you to understand what all these mean. These are all areas that affect a business decision. These areas also can affect ethical decisions. So ethics will weave into this law class several times. And then quickly, really quick, and then I will be done and ask questions. You will read a lot of cases. I mean, there's not a week that goes by in this class that you won't read cases. So it's really critical for you to understand what you're reading and, you know, how to analyze it. Most of the cases you're reading are higher court cases, okay? Which means it's either a Supreme Court case or some sort of appeals court case. They're higher court decision because they're the ones that kind of create the law. You really, and all these cases are in the book, so they're a little bit digestible. They're not in so much legalese for you to understand it. But when you read the case, you're probably gonna have to read it more than once, and I suggest you do. They're not that long because they're in the book. I would tell you to read it a couple times. Read it to just kind of understand the facts. And then the second goal is analyze what the problem is. What is that legal question they're asking you? And what are you trying to understand? Like, what is the case trying to grapple with? Again, go to your professors, ask them questions about the case, ask them if you got the information right. This is going to take some practice for you to get it. But once you do that, you'll be fine. Also in these cases, pick out the ethical issues you see. Sometimes in the cases it will go through an ethical analysis. Not all of them do, but some of them do. Kind of look through the ethical cases and say, what am I seeing? What am I looking at? That is real brief. I can go on and on, but I can see there's questions popping in. So I will stop sharing my screen for a second and then start pulling out some of the questions. Yes, the book is required for GB 110. You can't take the class without it. Every 110 class has the same ebook. It is required. You have to purchase it from the bookstore, and it is an ebook. Should we be in all 6 of our classes already on Blackboard? No, that's a whole question for outside, but I'll answer it. I think I know. So we as professors have also been getting a little bit last minute information from the administration about things they want to see on Blackboard. So we were held off a little bit on opening our Blackboard sites. So some professors have not opened their Blackboard site. For instance, I teach 4 classes. 3 of my Blackboard sites are open, 1 of them is not, but it will be up by today. I would say this, if you do not see by the end of the day your site open for your class, you should contact that professor and ask them. All classes are located on Blackboard. They should be. We were asked as professors to, you guys are asking me outside of GB 110 class, but I like it because I can answer these. All classes will be located on Blackboard. We were asked to do that, so they should be. Again, if you don't see it by today, contact your professor. But yes, because every class is being taught online, even the hybrid classes, even though some people will be in class, there is the majority of the class, the students online. So because we're teaching online, everything has to go through Blackboard. So all your grades, anything you submitted, your grades will show up on Blackboard. The main platform to upload assignments is Blackboard. No Canvas here. We don't use Canvas here at Bentley, we use Blackboard. So you guys, there's a lot of Blackboard questions, I would ask your orientation leaders. If you're having issues or you have not even logged into Blackboard yet, I would talk to your orientation leaders about helping you with that. The link for the Coursebook Connect was in that announcement that was sent out to GB. The one that it was sent from the GB 112 coordinator, but my information was also on there, Lynn Wolf. That link to that course book should be on there. If you can't locate that email, if your GB 110 Blackboard site is open for your professors, it should be on there. If not, email me personally and I'll give it to you. But it is course book. I'll look at there's no chat. I would have put it in the chat, but if you are still having problems, you can email me. The section numbers just indicate just kind of what you said. So the question was, other than determining which time slot you are in, what do the section numbers indicate? It just enters the day, the days of the week, and the time that you're in and what professor you have. That's really what it is. So each professor is designated into a section. So I'm teaching an honors class. My honors class is Wednesday from 11 to 1:50. It's a double block. I am section 2. So that's what it indicates. The professor, the time period, and the days of the week. All right, that was another question on Blackboard that I answered, so I answered that. Yes, all classes are online for the first week. Yes, nobody can do in-person classes for the first week. You will not, if you have any classes that are hybrid, you will not go to any classes until the second week. All classes for the first week starting next week will be online, and that's just to get everybody situated. And then the following week, if you have any hybrid classes, you will have them. For the legal dictionary, do you know if there's anything like this online, or is it yes? So check Amazon for that. Well, I'm going to check the library to see if they moved the physical copies online, or if they got online versions. If they have not yet, I would say check Amazon, and maybe you can get an ebook, an audio version, even though I wouldn't do that, but an ebook, or it might just be a physical book that you have to get from online. But again, they are inexpensive, and it might be easier again for you to flip through a regular book, especially if you're taking a test and you really quickly need to look up a word. I cannot tell you too much what exams look like because this is a good question. GB 110, although we are coordinated, we're not as coordinated as some of the other general business courses, meaning there is not common exams between us. We do use the same book. And the first 3 chapters of that book, we all have to teach during the same time. But other than that, professors have some flexibility on how they teach you and how they test you. We all do need to teach the same chapters, but we can teach them out of order. But I will say this, everybody's online, so most of your tests, if you are having a quiz or an exam, that will be given through Blackboard. Okay, and they will tell you, your professors will tell you what that will look like, how much time, and what's going to happen. Other than that, you will probably get written assignments. So you may get in a written exam, spot an issue, spot things like that. You may get essays. It really depends. But if it is an exam, like a multiple choice, true or false question, that will be administered through Blackboard. If it is papers, they will likely post them on Blackboard, and then they will tell you when you need to submit them either through Blackboard or through email to them. I answered all the Blackboard questions. Again, just wait till the end of the day and contact your professors. I can't answer the math question. For the Cengage, you're gonna have to talk to your math professor on that one. The homework that you have for a specific day is in your syllabus. So you go through your syllabus. And again, a lot of these questions will be answered by your professors the first day of class, and especially how they set up the syllabus. But your homework, whatever homework is due for the next day or whatever day it is, will be on your syllabus. No, you cannot share the book with anybody because you each get an access code, and it will only allow one person the access. So you are going to need, I mean, I don't know what you guys do, you guys are students, but usually the access code is given to one student. You usually can't access it from different platforms. You would need your own access code. The other thing is certain professors may have, when they use their ebook, they have a course under that ebook that they add stuff to the ebook, add web links. If this person is not in your class and the other professor's doing something different, you won't have access to what your professor's doing. So you really should have your own book. I do not know how much the book is. That is through the bookstore. I have no idea how much the book is. There are no the publisher did not make a lot of hard copies of the books. The books are only ebooks. However, with that said, I was able to get a few hard copies when they first made this book. And I put some, there is, I think only one, I think it was only able one. There is one at the reference desk in the library. Again, because we are in the day and age of COVID, it is a little bit more difficult to navigate the library. The library does open up on September 8th, There is one book at reference. If you cannot afford the book or having trouble, you can go ahead and go to the library and see if you can use that book. You can only use it in the library. You can't take it out, but you can use it for a couple of hours in there. So there is that one hard copy of that book at the library. Again, the link was already provided in that email I sent, or that Lynn sent, and it's again, Coursebook Connect. You can also Google it, but it also should be up on your Blackboard site if your professor opened it for you. All right, I just answered the question about the physical copy. I'm getting a question about a loose leaf set. I think you're talking about 112. This is not 112. This is 110. And again, we don't have a loose leaf. We use just an ebook. We don't have a loose leaf set. We use an ebook. There is no separate case law, case study textbook. This is the only book you need for 110, and that is that Legal and Ethical Environment of Business. Yes, the textbook is from Casebook Connect. This is, again, there's some Cengage questions. This book is from Wolters Kluwer. This is not a Cengage question, so I don't know. But this book is not from Cengage. If you purchased a book and you did not get an access code, contact the bookstore and ask them. They should have sent you an email with the access code or should have told you how to access it. If you have not received that, I would contact the bookstore. Professors' emails are a little different from student emails, and then I have like 2 minutes, so I have to wrap it up soon. But professors' emails are a little different. So for my email, my name is Kiana Pierre-Louis. It is the first initial K and then the full last name Pierre-Louis. So if your professor has not emailed you yet and you know the name, it is their first initial, so whatever the first initial of their first name and their full last name at bentley.edu. Yes, you absolutely can meet with your professor. And I know your professor, Scott Thomas, he's the one that's doing asynchronous. He will have virtual office hours and he will also be available to set up a virtual meeting with you. You absolutely, any modality, your professors have to have office hours. So yes, you can meet with your professor during office hours, even if it's asynchronous. You buy the book from the bookstore, it's a little bit easier that way. Don't buy it from the website, from the book. The only reason why I gave you that website was one, so you know how to get into it, and two, so you could see what the book looks like. Because I think the bookstore did not provide a picture of the book, so I wanted you guys to see what it looks like. I don't understand the question. How does, Honors GB, sorry, I missed that. Honors GB 110 different from regular GB 110. Honors GB are for just people who were admitted as honors student, and it's going to be a little bit heavy lifting, a little bit more regimented than regular GB1 classes because it's going through the honors curriculum. They still will go through the same chapters, but it will differ in that sense that I'm going to make it a little bit more regimented, a little bit more work. They don't like to hear that, but a little bit more work because it's going through the honors program. The syllabus of everybody's class is up on their Blackboard site for the class if it's open. All right, there were a lot more questions I can't get to because of the timing. I'm sorry. But again, if you have questions, really GB 110 specific, if it is overall, I would just ask your orientation leaders or go to specific professors for those classes. But GB 110 specific questions, just email me. Again, K Pierre-Louis, KPIERRELOUIS at bentley.edu, and I will try to get to you. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again, KPO, so much. This was very helpful for all the new students. So thank you.